Hello all, this is Piyush and I believe that you all are doing wonderful and great. Here I am to introduce one of my courses that's called as A to Z of History Optional through 1000 questions, and I have launched it very recently. The question is that what is this course all about and for whom? Over the years, while teaching History Optional, I have realized that there are some such students, those who have been facing very different kind of problem. I know that there are so many such students, they believe that they have covered the syllabus by their own, or else they have covered it through some other channels. In fact, I know many of them, those who have seen my Telegram videos, and in fact they believe that their foundation course is done, but the moment it comes to like writing UPSC in the present scenario, they have been facing difficulties. So there's one question about all those people, those who believe that their content is not sufficient, or else their content needs to be upgraded. And in this particular category, I can talk about some such students, those who have either written the mains or they have been preparing to write the mains. On the other hand, there is another question which is there in front of the students, that they have been desperately looking for the POIQs and specifically the answer of these POIQs. But the moment it comes to like both the questions, that how to get a kind of very relevant answer of the POIQs, because you all know that POIQs do play very important role in the preparation of the History Optional specifically, because yes, there are good number of questions which are either very similar or being asked in the same line. तो जो ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स हैं जिनको लगता है कि उनके कंटेंट बहुत अपग्रेडेड नहीं है, उनके कंटेंट में वो हिस्टोरियोग्राफी या वो जो डायमेंशंस है या जिस तरीके के डायग्राम्स के इनपुट होने चाहिए थे वो नहीं है, या फिर वो स्टूडेंट्स जिनको लगता है कि जो POIQs के आंसर्स है ये और जिस तरीके के आंसर्स मार्केट में अवेलेबल है वो उनके लिए सफिशिएंट नहीं है. सो दिस कोर्स इज प्रिसाइजली डिजाइन्ड फॉर देम ओनली. These two questions I have been targeting primarily in this particular course. What I have done, like I have designed the course in such a way that all these requirements, either it is about value upgradation or else it is about like formatting the things properly, or else we can say that the moment it comes to finding the right answer of the questions that have been asked previously, so all these questions are collected in one place and I have just tried to answer all these questions through this particular program that's called as A to Z of History Optional through 1000 questions. So what I'm going to do, like I'm just going to discuss briefly that how exactly or what exactly like we are going to do it and how exactly we are going to do it. So basically if I'll talk about this particular course, in that case I would like to discuss about some of the important features of this particular program. इसके features में सबसे जो important बात है कि we are going to cover like 500 questions that have been asked in the previous years, and the 500 questions have been taken from basically the questions that have been asked like in last 10 years from 2013 onwards. So if this 2013 is the year from where the pattern of the questions and the pattern of the nature of the questions have also got changed, and that's how I have categorically taken the questions from 2013 onwards. So basically we can say that the 500 questions that have been asked in past 10 or 11 years, they have been included here in this particular course. And then along with this, like 500 probable questions. So the moment it comes to 500 probable questions, so there again I must tell you two things, that there are some questions that may be very similar to the questions that have been asked previously. Maybe their framing is very different, but more or less we can say that the topic what they were supposed to write in their answer or the theme what they are supposed to like mention in their answer is very similar. But at the same time I must tell you that there are so many new dimensions which are not being covered by them, because since they were not asked in the previous year questions, and that's how like they are not focusing on those kind of dimensions. But I must tell you that the moment it comes to the subject, there is no defined boundary of the subject. There are so many possibilities of the question, and it was so unfortunate that like these possibilities or these dimensions were not asked in the examination so far. तो जब भी बात आती है ऐसे डायमेंशंस की जो आपने POIQs के थ्रू कवर नहीं किया है या फिर बाकी जगहों से उन्होंने इसलिए कवर नहीं किया है क्योंकि उनको कभी POIQs में पूछा नहीं है, बट इसका मतलब ये कभी भी नहीं है कि ऐसे डायमेंशंस पे क्वेश्चंस नहीं आ सकते हैं. अगर आप पेपर देखेंगे प्रीवियस ईयर्स के या जो पेपर्स अभी आ रहे हैं उस पेपर में आपको हमेशा कुछ नए डायमेंशंस दिखते हैं. खासकर 2017-18 onwards you can find that there are like several new dimensions are being asked. So either it is paper 1 or paper 2, like UPSC has continuously hunting for the new dimensions, and I always used to say one thing ki when in the previous like pattern when 60 marker questions were being asked, there were very less chances of framing questions which are from the new dimensions. But the moment it comes to the questions of 15 marks, 10 marks, 20 marks, so there is great possibility of the questions which are somehow coming from the very new dimensions. So अगर आपको इन न्यू डायमेंशंस के बारे में भी थोड़ा जानना है तो हमने क्या किया है कि हमने इस प्रोबेबल 500 क्वेश्चंस में उन क्वेश्चंस को भी इंक्लूड किया है जो कि नए डायमेंशंस हैं या फिर वो ऐसे एरियाज हैं, ऐसे थीम्स के ऊपर बेस्ड हैं जिसको अभी तक यूपीएससी ने टच नहीं किया है. बट देन देयर आर हाई चांसेस दैट इन कमिंग फ्यू ईयर्स दीज क्वेश्चंस वुड बी इंक्लूडेड in the question paper. So basically if I'll summarize this, I'll tell you two things, that basically we are going to cover 500 questions of the previous years. That's the first thing. And the second thing, the possibilities of the areas of the themes, that is also included here. And through these questions, the PYQs and the probable questions, we are going to cover the syllabus comprehensively. Now when I am saying that I am going to cover the syllabus, it does not mean that it is going to deal with a basic sort of development. Of course not, because as I told you categorically, I believe that it is for those students, those who believe that they have done the course by their own or they have covered it through some other channels, but then they are not feeling very confident because the moment they see the questions, they are not able to have the right content or the relevant content, right historiography, and then the keywords and the other things. So it is for them only, right? So comprehensively, the comprehensive word, what exactly I mean, I'm going to cater the requirement of the examination. So that's how more or less we are going to cover the syllabus, the whole syllabus, and that's how I have been calling it mini foundation also. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cover the whole syllabus in 43 classes. And the pattern is very different, and that's how you can't say ki how come it's possible to cover the whole syllabus in just 43 classes, because it's a very different pattern in which we are going to do it. So let's see other features. So basically it's a fast track course, and in fact within 4 months we are going to cover it. And as I have already told you that within these 43 classes I'll be dealing with the main concepts, okay, then historiography, sources, some important facts, and in fact the best way to present them in the answer. Because if I believe that you have covered the syllabus by your own or maybe through some other channels, in that case some basic understanding is there, but the point is that the moment it comes to writing it in the examination, then you have to do it in a very different way. So our main focus is to cater the demands of the questions, demands of UPSC, that's it. So within those 43 classes we will be covering it. Now at the same time I'll tell you that I will be providing you the answer of those 500 questions. Now that's, as I have told you in the beginning, that what happens, unfortunately the solved paper which are present in the market, they are not up to the mark. And I have seen many of them and I have realized that they are missing the basic things. They are missing the basic things such as what should be the keywords, how the conclusion should be written, how the introduction should be written, and most importantly the historiography. And the way you have realized one thing, recently the students, those who have been crossing 300, I have more or less noticed that these students are basically those who have done their masters in history. So if they are able to score this much, it means that now some specialized information is required. So if you will be writing that generic information, or let's say if you have been writing those information which are either present in any notes or else which is present in let's say couple of books, because mostly you have been reading just one book for one section, which is not sufficient. So if UPSC is requiring some standard information, in that case you need to come up with those kind of information. So that's the reason because of what we are going to provide you the answers, we are going to provide you the whole answers of the questions that have been asked in last 10 years, and these answers would be incorporating all those things what are missing in the market materials. That's the most important thing. Well, apart from that, I have just told you that I'll be providing the model hint of the 500 questions, And then apart from that, the practice book will be also given of these 500 questions. So you can practice on the basis of the previous year papers. And in fact, as I did tell you that, as I did tell you that there are some new dimensions that could be asked over the years, because in last 10 years I have realized that there were many questions I have categorically said in the class कि अभी तक ये सवाल नहीं पूछा, लेकिन आने वाले 2-3 सालों में क्वेश्चन आएगा और वो क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे. तो मुझे लगता है कि वो अजम्पशन भी बहुत जरूरी है, वो गेस भी बहुत जरूरी है, ताकि आप फ्यूचर में अपने आप को यूपीएससी के लिए प्रिपेयर कर पाए. तो दैट्स व्हाई this workbook would be also provided to you. So that's how we are going to cover it, and of course while doing so we'll be doing the value addition. So that's the process, and through this process we'll be doing the value addition. So I'll be just giving you a kind of short example that how we are going to do the things. So basically if we'll see the course, so the first thing what we are going to do is the PYQs, right? So the every topic we are going to pick up. So for the every topic we'll see first that what are the questions that have been asked previously. So let's say I have just taken the archaeological sources, and from the archaeological sources in different years what are the questions that have been asked, and on the basis of the questions we'll just try to classify the theme into some subcategories. Okay, this is the topic, and from this particular topic these are 3 dimensions that have been asked. And in fact while discussing about the question I'll simultaneously tell you that there are possibilities of these 2 more dimensions, those which are not asked yet. तो जो डायमेंशंस पूछे गए हैं उसकी भी बात करेंगे क्वेश्चंस के थ्रू, और जो डायमेंशंस नहीं पूछे गए हैं उसकी भी बात करेंगे हम क्वेश्चंस के थ्रू, और इस तरीके से हम मोरलेस उस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक का एक होलिस्टिक कवरेज हम करने वाले हैं. और इनमें से क्वेश्चंस को, जैसा कि मैंने आपसे कहा कि हम उसको कुछ सब कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड करेंगे, और फिर उन सब कैटेगरीज के लिए हम क्या करने वाले हैं, हम उसके आंसर्स प्रिपेयर करने वाले हैं, या फिर उस थीम को हम कवर करने वाले हैं. So what I'm going to do, further I'll be picking up the questions in the same way, and as I told you that if there is one dimension there are 3 questions are asked, but more or less the content is same. So I'll be taking up all the 3 questions, and then we'll try to prepare or format the answer of this question. Now while formatting the answer also, let me tell you very categorically, it's not just the answer, rather I'll just tell you that how to frame this answer. So it's simultaneously going to have you are going to have a practice also of this, and such as the first thing that the moment it comes to the question, so what is this micro analysis of the questions? On the basis of the various keywords which are given in the question, we'll just try to understand that how to make the micro analysis of the question, and as per that we are going to frame this answer. So the first thing is the micro analysis. Right. The second thing which is very important is the keyword, because very categorically I am telling you one thing, that your marks are very much depending on the keywords which are what you are incorporating in your answers. So for every question there are certain keywords. So for every question or for every dimension we are going to have certain keywords. Okay, these are the keywords what we are going to have in this particular question, or let's say answer. The third thing, which is again very important, is the historiography. Now this is one of the most missing area among the answers of the students, because they haven't studied the history with respect to the historiography, and that's why they have been missing it. And when you read just one book or you cover the content from some other source, so basically what happens, historiography is the missing part, and that's how the third category we'll be discussing is about the historiography. So for every dimension, for every question we'll be discussing a historiography if it is possible, and it is possible in most of the questions. Unfortunately you are not aware of it, that's a different thing. Okay. Then after the historiography, the next thing is the formatting of the answer. So when it comes to the formatting of the answer, again this becomes a challenging thing. Now as far as the formatting of answer is concerned, it depends on person to person. There are some students, they are having the expertise in writing the introduction, because somehow their brain is trained in this way that while seeing the question, they can frame a good introduction. But then it is not possible for every student, because maybe some of you have studied humanities paper, some of you have studied science papers or commerce papers. So if you are coming from science background, or let's say commerce background, in that case you are not accustomed or you are not habituated of writing the introduction, because there the requirements are altogether different. And that's how we are going to frame various type of introduction. Why type of introduction? Now whatsoever pattern suits to you, आपको जो अच्छा लगता है, आप जिसमें ज़्यादा कन्वीनियंट फील करते हैं, आप इसके हो सकते हैं 2 डायमेंशंस हो सकते हैं 3 डायमेंशंस हो. सो इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी दैट यू हैव बीन फ्रेमिंग द इंट्रोडक्शन इन जस्ट वन पैटर्न. So whatsoever pattern suits you, like you can select one of them and you can go as per that. So that's why for most of the questions we'll be discussing, okay, these are 2 different types or 3 different types in which you can frame the introduction. So that's how we'll see the introduction, and then after the introduction we'll go for the answer. So of course it is the body part, it's the about basically the main content, right? So if it is required, we'll go do the value addition. If it is not required, in that case we'll just like rely on the previous content. And then further it comes to the conclusion. So again the same thing what I have discussed for the introduction, the same thing I can talk about the conclusion also. So it is again depending on you that what conclusion suits you, but it is not true that one conclusion is right, one is wrong. There might be 2-3 ways to conclude your thing. So it's not necessary that you are concluding your answer in a particular way, in a fixed way. So there is no scientific pattern of concluding it. There might be many ways of concluding it. And in fact, in every question I can tell you about 3-4 different patterns in which you can you can write the introduction, you can write the conclusion also. Now there is no much experiment with the body part because content remains more or less same. Structuring is the very important thing, but content remains same. Now how do you structure it? Now, of course we are going to discuss that in the body part, but then here it's about conclusion. So that's how we are going to cover the whole syllabus. That's the whole idea of this. So I believe that I have designed the course in such a way that all those students, the type of students that I had been discussing in the beginning is definitely going to help you out. And in fact, if you want to cover the syllabus, in fact, if you want to revise the syllabus in a shorter span of period, that too in such a way that you gain this confidence, okay, like if the questions are coming, so I'm ready with the the questions of last 10 years and in fact some new dimensions also. So I'll be able to answer at least the 5 questions out of 8. So I think that would be good for you. So that's how I have designed the course, and I believe that it's definitely going to benefit you. So if you all are interested, you can contact Momentum IAS. Thank you very much.